Hey everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. I just want to highlight in this particular part of the broadcast a few things that I find absolutely crazy in the world of liberalism. But I want to begin this segment by saying this. It's a quote. When everyone prospers, the temptation of war subsides. And if you think about what Donald Trump is doing, because America sets the course for the rest of the world. Do we want the largest GDP in the world? Absolutely. But you know how you make the largest GDP? You have to get more customers too. We need people to prosper. We need these third world African nations and these third world countries to prosper, to find out what their big deal is in order to fulfill their destinies. And when they open up themselves to more free trade and things that when they have a middle class, a burgeoning middle class, that helps everybody. And the way I can look at that one, and I'm going to repeat this statement again, when everyone prospers, the temptation of war subsides. Think about how it is in your family. I can't speak for white families, but I think I can speak for human families, because this is certainly the way it is in my family. If somebody prospers, my family gets jealous. I've watched people go like, like when my sons got accepted to college, for us, it was no big deal. I remember one of my aunts looking at me like, you think you're something. And I'm thinking, and I know what she's thinking because she grew up in a different time. And I'm thinking to myself, why do you care? And I would be happy. I'd be ecstatic to see her kids and grandkids doing well. But the problem is her kids and grandkids weren't necessarily doing well. And so that's why, she harbored a jealousy. Nations harbor jealousies over what's going on in the United States. And it's ridiculous. Look, as the United States goes, so goes the rest of the world. We want to help you prosper. You know how you're going to prosper? I'm speaking to the rest of the world right now. You're going to prosper by following our lead. You're not going to prosper by being despots. Look at North Korea, Iran, all the Middle Eastern countries. These are desert wastelands for the most part. They're horrible places to live. People do not thrive in environments like that, and you're not going to get out of the country what you want to get out of it unless you allow creativity to flourish. But they don't. And that segues into, we actually have a day dedicated to it's called the National Lazy Day. And I saw this, it was the other day, and I thought to myself, that's every day for most liberals I know. We have a day to celebrate laziness. Now, don't misunderstand me. You've worked your butt off all year and you want to take a day? I would ask the average person who's a conservative, how often do you take a lazy day? I mean, well, you do nothing. I can't remember. The only time I remember doing nothing was when I went on this crazy diet where I removed all the sugar from my system, and it was worse than heroin. And I was in bed for a week, and I was grouchy, and I didn't want to do anything except eat and use the bathroom. I mean, I didn't want to eat. I ate this nasty crap. I didn't want to eat, but I had to eat. And I lost 18 pounds in about 2 weeks. And after it was over, I felt freaking awesome. But that was the only time I've been lazy, where I did nothing. Even if I try to do nothing, I end up doing something. So all I'm getting at here, folks, is we don't take these days, but we have a day that's called National Lazy Day. And I just find that very interesting. And I know who came up with this. You don't have to wonder. We know where this derived. Dang liberals. Here's another story for you. Chelsea Manning. You know who Chelsea Manning is, right? You guys know? The soldier who became a transsexual. Chelsea Manning. Chelsea is now going to be on the cover of Vogue magazine in September. That's right. Well, think about what it takes to make the cover of Vogue when you were maybe a young girl and you were like, that was like I don't know, was it the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, but Vogue was a big deal. And Chelsea Manning, a dude who now wants to be a woman, will grace the cover of this most hallowed feminist magazine. And then they wonder, the left of these feminists wonder why we don't take them seriously. This is bizarre. What comment do you want? You're looking at me like I should have something else to say. I'm speechless. Who comes up with this nonsense? Women, seriously, you're doing yourselves no favors by doing this type of stuff. How many times have I talked about pretty soon women will dominate nothing? You think I'm kidding? It's going to be all transsexuals. Transsexuals are dominating women's sports. They're probably going to be better moms than women, than leftist women anyway. When do you finally get enough and say, you know what? Enough is enough. The political correct nature. Look, I don't have anything against, what's her name, Chelsea Manning, other than I think she was a traitor. But I'm saying as a human being, I don't have anything. If a dude wants to be a girl, fine, be a girl. But what? Why do you glorify this? Why do you take an iconic magazine that is geared to women and you go, hey, we're going to stick this transsexual on there, and as if it means something there. Oh, look at what we've done. We're just amazing at how we think. So progressive of us. It's all done with the notion, I'm going to tell you folks, selling magazines. Now you say, come on, Kevin, that's what they do. It is. It is what they do. But you should be able to sell a magazine based on its content geared towards your audience. Is their audience transsexuals? You know, what are they trying to accomplish? Besides stirring up stuff and making you feel like, oh, I guess I better jump on board with that. Look, I don't care. I don't care if somebody wants to change their sex. I never would. If it happened in my family, I would be accepting of the person that did it. I would probably have a sit down and go, can you explain to me why you did it? When did it occur? I'd probably have some idea. I'd say, yeah, I kind of knew you were a little effeminate. But I didn't know you wanted to be a girl, Chip. Or whatever. I don't get it. Here's another story. Section 8 housing is destroying housing values, but it's driving up rental prices. I don't know if you guys know this, but Barack Obama, with this, what they call it, Agenda 21, they want to move low-income people into the nicer areas because you're never going to get there otherwise. They're forcing these places where, the people have moved and said, oh, I always wanted to live in this very exclusive area. And they're saying, no, you can't be exclusive anymore. We're going to make you now have to live next to Section 8 housing people. You guys think I'm kidding? Go look this up. You'll see what I'm talking about. And people are revolting. You've worked hard. Look, I can tell you this. If you said to me, Kevin, you can live in your old home, the very first home you bought in that neighborhood, again, I would go, heck to the no. I don't want to live there. I'm done with that neighborhood. It was when I lived there, when I was in college, I bought my first house my senior year. It was amazing. I thought, ooh, check me out. I'm buying my own home. Yay. I'm not renting anymore, and all that. But let me tell you, once that house was done, I was glad to leave and get to the next house and the next house. The only house that I would go back and live into is the house I had in Texas, where I lived in a very exclusive area called Willow Bend and Plano. I'd move back to that home because it was spectacular. But I wouldn't go back to any of my other homes. No, I outgrew those homes. And I may not even go back to the one I had in Texas, even though, it was a very, very nice home. But this is an intentional thing where, and look, I don't blame people that are impoverished for wanting to be around wealth if they took advantage of it and said, I'm going to learn. But what happens is that you just end up increasing the crime in those neighborhoods. And let me tell you what else happens. People leave. They find areas where they say, okay, this has not been touched. We're going to pass ordinances that doesn't allow you to do what you just did, and we're done. You can't come in here and encroach any longer. You cannot stop people from achieving and then saying, I want to make this exclusive. I don't want anybody to be able to have this. That's what exclusivity implies. That's why you work hard. I don't want a car that everybody can own. I mean, I don't have super nice cars, but I'm just saying I don't want a car everybody can own. I don't want to live in a neighborhood where anybody can live in. I don't want to shop where everybody can shop. Well, even I do shop at Walmart. You get what I'm saying? I think you guys feel the same way. Anyway, I wanted to cover a little bit more in this segment, so that's why I covered those topics. Deportations. Maybe we'll come in with that since I'm running late.